Alright, so I'm just going to do a quick walkthrough on some of the basic game information and a little bit of gameplay for Time Attack, a game that my brother has been working on for quite some time. So when you first start it out, if you click on Info, there are 4 different information slides. How to play is something we will actually cover through gameplay. Let's just go over some items and pickups. So the farthest left column are temporary pickups, or temporary power-ups. Going from top to bottom, we have Rapid Fire, which increases fire rate, Health, which gives you 2 permanent health. It does not increase your maximum health. You have Bouncy Shot, which makes it so your attacks will bounce off of walls instead of dying upon contact. Triple Shot will give you 3 times as many shots. It will increase your shot multiplier by 3. Big Shot increases the size of the shots, and in this game, the size of the shots directly corresponds to damage. I think it's a 2 times multiplier in this case. Battery will refresh your active item. Or sorry, not your active item, your active ability. Vacuum will draw in power-ups and time-ups towards your character for a brief period of time. And then Speed Boost increases your speed by some percentage for a couple of seconds. Middle column is single-use items. Bullet Fan will cause enemy shots to disappear for the duration of the effect. It's a couple of seconds. Blood Orange heals you 3 HP, also does not increase your maximum at all. Arrow is a single, relatively large projectile that destroys projectiles and does a massive amount of damage to enemies that travels through. It does not destroy it upon walls, but if you have Bounce Shot, it will bounce off the walls. It's affected by shot multiplier and shot increases. Mega Gavel destroys any spike blocks on the current level. Shield gives you immunity to contact damage for the duration. Recall causes all enemies to despawn. It does not drop time-ups at all. And then the corresponding number of enemies will respawn as usual. Tithe is a donation basket. It collects any temporary power-ups and time-ups currently out and about. Scramble turns all enemies to the same basic enemy. I don't know if they actually have names. I call them Eggmen. Bleed deals 2 damage to all enemies. I believe that is roughly equivalent to a basic attack. Spyglass zooms you out for the duration of time that you keep it active. You just need to hold down the use button. And Mystery Box spawns a temporary power-up at your mouse location upon use. Time-ups, relatively straightforward. Number of bars that are light blue indicate the amount of seconds it gives you. These are generally created by killing enemies. Hotkeys. Use WASD to move. Right-click uses your active skill. Spacebar is the active item. R restarts the game. It does require you to press R twice now because it kept causing us to lose out on daily runs. M mutes the music, and Alt is toggle auto-fire. If you have auto-fire toggled off, then left-click causes you to fire. If you do not have it toggled off, then you will automatically fire. Now we're just going to do a quick rundown of passives. Left column first, Artificer gives you 1 temporary HP, or 1 HP that does not increase your maximum every time you use an active item. The Quiver gives you an arrow active item at the beginning of every level. A Recall Switch gives you a recall item at the start of portal spawn. So a couple of seconds before you get the overload notification. Starburst causes the zones, which we will get into during actual gameplay, the radial burst zones, to create more radial burst zones upon projectile death. So usually when they hit walls or enemies. Hail of Arrows causes any arrow spawner that includes the quiver or zones to shoot out 1, 2, 3 arrows. Energizer causes periodic battery spawn Ghoul creates a zone of protectiveness whenever you touch a zone. It lasts for just a couple of seconds and makes you immune. You can be pushed out by blocks, however. Beam creates a laser beam that sweeps around you. I believe it pierces enemies, but is stopped by walls. It deals a low amount of damage per tick. It does, however, go through invulnerability on a couple enemies, which we might see if I end up picking it. Lucky Shot. I believe it's a 1 in 8 chance to shoot out 5 times as many projectiles, or increase your shot multiplier by 5 for one shot. I could be off on the percentage chance, though. Big Shot is a chance to increase the shot size by a percentage. Basically gives you critical damage on a couple of shots. Power Word Kill creates another zone, which you'll get into, but when you step on that zone, it kills. It does not recall. It kills all enemies. This does not work against bosses. It deals large chunks of damage instead. Timely Reload fires a normal bullet projectile every time you pick up time. Item Net makes it so that rather than walking over time or temporary power-ups to pick them up, you simply need to get the net over them. It is a couple times larger than your model. Splash damage causes a percent of your bullet damage to be dealt in an area of effect around the impact zone. Heart Container can be found multiple times at the passive item room, and it stacks, gives you 2 permanent HP. It also increases your current health by 2. I don't actually believe Handicap is in anymore, but if it is, the effect that it had was it reduced the difficulty level by a couple, I think it was like 2 or 3. So basically every time you go through a portal, it increases the number of enemies that spawn and the number of enemy caps and stuff like that by a little bit. And this reduced it to make it easier. I think it has been removed, though. I guess that'll be embarrassing if you run across it. Apocalypse increases the size of any skulls that spawn. They can be spawned a couple of ways. The main way is through skull zones. They cause any bullets to die in the current zone and deal large amounts of damage. This kills enemies that are non-bosses, usually one shot. Broken Clock makes it so that you have a greater amount of time after the portal opens before Unstable happens, which will make more sense once we start getting into it. Trampoline makes it so that you get the bouncy shot power up upon entering a new level. Goes way up to the regular amount of time. Bullet Shield creates a barrier directly opposite your mouse cursor, which blocks incoming bullets. Clean Escape gives you the vacuum power-up at the spawn of portals. Zoning Permit adds an additional zone to each level, which will make more sense when we get into it. Unstable Power means that if a portal exists for long enough that it goes unstable, you get triple shot and you get faster attacks as essentially power-ups. So if you enter the portal right away, you can use it at the start of the next level. Regeneration means that you will temporarily heal 1 health if you are at 2 or less health. If it starts to heal you and then you gain HP, it will still heal you 1 health though. Defile, a couple of seconds after corpses are created from enemy death, a small skull will appear. This synergizes with Apocalypse. Bleeding Strength can be picked up multiple times. Each time makes it so that you have another base bullet count until you are hit. So you get 2 bullets on the first pickup, and it goes down to 1 when you're first hit. But if you have a triple shot, you will shoot 6 bullets instead of shooting 4 bullets. It's not increasing your shot multiplier. Reap makes it so the first time that you're hit in each level, it spawns a skull on you. Activated Tri-Shot means that upon use of the activated ability or right-clicking, you get a triple shot power-up. Fire Trail creates a line of fire behind you. When enemies walk through the fire, they take damage. Slow Shot makes it so your shots will pierce through enemies, and instead of dealing all the damage in one shot, it deals the damage in ticks over time. Power Extension increases the duration of all power-ups that you have. Second Chance gives you a one-time respawn upon taking fatal damage. It leaves you at half of your maximum health, and it goes away. Desperation makes it so when you kill an enemy at 2 HP, they have a 50% chance of dropping a 1 health power-up, basically. If you're at 1 HP, it's a 100% chance. Randomize takes all of your current passives and gives you, it's either an equal number and then 1 for the randomized pickup, or an equal number and then 2 for randomized. I don't remember. Oracle's Gift increases the number of items in item rooms and passive item rooms by 1, and it gives an indicator in the middle of the room as to what the oncoming room is going to be through the use of a single tile of corresponding color. Alright, so that's a lot of the background information. Get into the actual game. So, actually, let's go over characters first, I suppose. So you can random the character, or you can play the specific one. There's Cumulal Helion, Dark Deal. That is your active, so everyone has an active and a passive. His active means you can right-click, it uses your charge, it takes half of your time and gives you, it's either 1 or 2 health. Masochist means that when you take damage, it shoots out an attack that is base 8 bullets around you in a circle. Brain, Teleport, you go to your mouse's position, it deals damage when you land, and if you get a pickup, it is always also a battery and gives you the charge back. Robot, he attacks fast. It stacks with rapid fire, whereas usually power-ups don't stack with themselves, and you get passive items at the 90-second mark instead of the 100-second mark. Frog, his right click takes you to the nearest zone. Usually there's only one, but you can have 2. And his passive gives you 1 health every time you use a power-up zone. He also cannot get health from shops, and he loses 1 health going into portals. Gaskin, active burst. Very straightforward. You essentially do, I think it's an 8-shot burst. At the mouse location upon use. I don't remember if that's the right number. Right. And then its passive is Brink. So the brief invulnerability when you become 2 hurt needs to recharge. So I think it has a 3-room charge. You might have upped that at some point. It gives you, I think it's 5 seconds of invulnerability. If you take damage, it will bring you to 2 or less health. It might be 3 though. Parasite. I'm gonna Parasite and heal from Parasite. So when you right click, it creates a Parasite ally that chains from enemy to enemy. And then the Leech gives you 1 health back after it chains to, I think it's 12 enemies. The chain limit is not, it'll just keep going. And it deals a lot of damage. Usually it kills, except against bosses. Glitch. He can reroll pickups and hack timers on the ground. So the pickups are both temporary pickups and passive items. So you can use him and get a different set of passive items from passive item rooms, which is kind of cool. And when it says hacks timers on the ground, it actually sets them all to 3 seconds. However, his passive is error. Enemies may fail to damage you. That means it's 1 in 8, I believe again, chance that you simply take no damage when an enemy attacks you. Father, he has essentially the collection basket as his active. He picks everything up from the room at once, and then he also has a greater chance for pickups to spawn. Sai, his attack, or his active is convergence. What that means is that when you right click, all of your bullets will attempt to converge on one spot. Because his passive gives him a higher attack rate, but his bullets don't move, he is very difficult. Bract is a spider. Gossamer Lift makes you invulnerable, but you also can't pick anything up unless you have an item net. For a couple of seconds, you can move around to try and get to the exit, or to pickups, or to things that you have placed in web traps, or to get an appropriately placed web trap. Web traps are periodically spawning sprites where when enemies walk over them, they are entangled in the web trap, essentially killing the enemy. And if you walk over the now entangled enemy, you get a health back. Not permanent health, just health. And then drill. Active drill. So you essentially get an arrow when you right click. However, on this character, all arrows are quote-unquote drills, which means that they stay connected to your enemy and they face the direction of the mouse. So you can use them to clear out enemies for an extended duration of time, and they last for a certain number of seconds. So we're just going to random. If we get Sai, I'll probably restart us though. Alright, so we can show the arrows off. So these are zones. One spawns every time you let go. And these are the enemies at the start. And there's the portal, so it's not staying unstable yet, and that means that it's only been around for a couple of seconds. And now it's unstable, which means my time is going down much faster. So these are the items. I'm going to take the collection basket and hope that we get a level that is conducive to using it in. And we've seen all of the different base zones. There's only 3. There's arrows, which synergize well with this guy's drill. There are skulls, and then there are these circular bullet burst zones. Alright, so this would have been a reason to not... Yeah, I'm not playing super well. I should not have used the basket, though. I simply wasn't thinking. So this is me using the spyglass for the entirety of the levels so that I can find the portal. Mostly only useful in larger levels, the spyglass. So the towers will shoot, wait a second or two, and then shoot again. You can tell that they're getting ready to shoot by their eyes becoming redder and redder. The eggheads will chase you if you get too close, otherwise they won't do anything. They do 1 damage. The range attacks do 2 damage. The Saturns will shoot out triple shots. They move slowly. They're still a pain in the ass. I really want this triple shot because it gives me 3 times the duration on my drill. The slimes turn into, I believe it's always 4 smaller slimes. On death. Oh, and Saturns, upon death, pull pickups on the ground towards themselves. Alright, bad dodging. But not the end of the world. It's pretty important to have a drill going. It's this guy because it lets you just get right in there with the fact that they eat up bullets. And yellow level can sometimes be a run killer. Because of basically that. Right there. That's good health. So it only has 1 route of travel throughout the level. which essentially means that if it's hard to get through or if you are on the far side of the level, you're screwed. So you want to always be trying to be in the middle here until you see the portal spawn and then start making your way over there. And right now, portal spawn in the middle, so just running through the motions now. I have triple shot on active use, which is pretty awesome because it means I don't need to find a triple shot pickup to make my drill as effective as possible. Alright, I'm gonna take this. I already have the ability to get triple shots, so power overwhelming or whatever, unstable power, isn't as useful as it could be. Let me get that health up. And what was the other one? Oh, escape pauses, by the way. I don't remember what the other one was. Oh, Defile. I like to move around a lot on this character. This guy also caps out at 999, whatever those things are. It's basically 10 seconds of drill. But right now I'm basically hoping to get all of the arrow-related ones, one of which is really good with the item use, because then I can not take items from the shop and still get items. There's also no reason for me not to take an item there. I didn't currently have any, and they heal me all the same, so really bad play, but not getting too punished. So yeah, you can sort of see how runs snowball a lot, especially on a character that has some built-in defense like this one. Also, once again, wrong play. It takes me most of the run to actually remember that I need to start doing that stuff. Oh, I should be able to poke him through that wall, I guess. My drill isn't quite long enough. So these orange guys are another monster. Ooh. I already have healing, so I'm just gonna take the Ankh. Oh, the other one is so good. Oh well. That was bad. Alright, we're just gonna make this a lot less complicated. So, anyways, as I was saying, the orange guys, they have enough HP to sustain 3 shots, and when they take damage, it... Sorry again. It turns them temporarily invulnerable, they speed up, and they start to move towards you. They cannot, however, damage you during that time. So, if you have anything that goes through their invulnerability, like the laser, or this character's arrows... I mean, all arrows technically go through. This one is just a lot easier to control. Bad play. Then it's fine to damage them, but if you don't, you can just wind up taking, I think it's 3 points of contact damage. You don't have a way of finishing them off. And there is only one other, I guess, basic enemy type that we're going to run into at all. But it is not until after the devil fight. So... I think think I want the extra zones. None of this is super appealing. Because I don't really care about being active focused, and if I get extra zones, I can also get gold to go with it, which is pretty sick. Gives me more arrows, potentially. So the extra zones just increases the zones to 2 instead of 1. And basically, the idea with zones is there's one normally, and every time you use it, another one spawns. Pretty straightforward. Oops. Oopsies. Alright, just need to not screw this up. Then, alright, damage everything a little bit. Alright, well that was my one time only not dying. Onk, that's what it's called. That was super greedy. I don't really need the time. I need to start playing a lot more conservatively, because healing has definitely been the issue so far. Alright, there we go, there's some health. Dodge into the melee to avoid the range attack. Technically worth it, I guess. Probably should have killed a couple more things before taking the collection basket. Just because pickups spawn from the death of enemies, I believe. Or at least that's how it started off. I assume that's still how it works. This is actually what I talked about. I want ghoul. This is literally one of the reasons I took the zones. Because it gives you little bases of operation. It's more important in the smaller levels, as we will see probably right here, actually. So now I can just sort of set up over here. I'm guessing the portal is spawned by now. Yep, there we go. Alright, that was pretty bad. Right. That was bad ordering, but it's gonna be okay. Once again, bad ordering. It's bad ordering because I get triple shot, which affects the number of arrows that you shoot out from the zones. From using my right click, so I should really be using the right click and then stepping on the zones, so I have a longer time with the arrows. Alright. We're gonna go with the... I think that this one is legitimately better than the kill zones. Partly because it increases the percentage of zones which are good by a greater amount. So these were pretty mediocre before. Now they clear out basically the surrounding area of the level. Since enemy respawns cannot occur right next to you. Well, it doesn't matter right now. I almost got to show us the double fight. But the idea is a kill zone resets everything. So it could cause enemies to spawn closer to you because you're killing so many, whereas this just sort of clears out the area of the level next to you. So it should reduce roughly the number around you. So anyways, that was Drill. As you can tell, the art isn't like the best art ever. The levels are, I guess they're fine, but Some of the enemies look funny, and they don't have like great animation. Same with the characters, but it's a very gameplay centric game, and I have a lot of fun with it. Granted, I am a little bit biased. My brother made it. But that is the brief rundown for Time Attack.